You know, I've been noticing this trend on the rise, and I think it's time for me to finally speak about it. Obviously, we all love anime, and like I said in my last video, anime holds a special place in the hearts of black people all over the globe. But there's a trend that's been bubbling up on the internet in recent times, and I hate it. In a similar fashion to how speed dating has been mutated into the 20v1 epidemic that's hitting the algorithm extremely hard, the quote-unquote hoodification of anime is spreading all over the internet right now. Okay, at this point, I bet you're wondering, what is hoodification? And what the hell does hoodification have to do with my anime? Well, I was in the house one day and I was just randomly scrolling my YouTube feed and I seen a thumbnail that kinda stuck out to me. It was a close-up shot of Sukuna from JJK and he was wearing a do-rag. Now in the middle of my surprise, I posed a deep and philosophical question. Why the fuck is Sukuna in a fucking do-rag? For like the 2% of you who don't know, a do-rag is an item that black people wear mostly to protect their hair. It keeps your dreadlocks locking and your 360 wave spinning. Throughout modern history, the do-rag has been seen as some type of ghetto item. Now, I bet you're wondering, why did this thumbnail rub me the wrong way? Well, it wasn't just the thumbnail, it was also the title. The title of the video was called Sukuna is Overpowered, the JJK Demon. So two things about this. One, Sukuna is definitely overpowered. If you're reading the manga right now, that boy is running hands with everybody in the show. And two, this might sound like a straightforward phrase, you know, Sukuna's evil, blase blah, but this is a form of AAVE, or African American Vernacular English. The term demon doesn't mean what it usually means in the biblical sense. We're often speaking about somebody that is a quote-unquote crash out. Given the second point, this cocktail of black culture being thrown on a Japanese cartoon really made my ass itch, but I still haven't told you why. Alright, let's break it down. I often have debates with my friends on how other black people view black culture, and specifically black American culture. When I sit down and ponder and think about how the internet feels about black Americans, most of the time it's nothing positive. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's really nothing but stereotypes. Black people are always laid. The idea that the only foods we like are chicken and watermelon. The fact that most black women are only nurses. Fun fact that I just read something like a lot of black women are nurses in America. Wow. If you listen to the dickheads on Twitter, they'll say that the only thing that comes from black culture are negative stereotypes. And despite all those negative stereotypes and labels we have, somehow we are the cultural powerhouse of America. Shit, I might even say the world. From entertainment to music to fashion to food and everything else in society. It should go without saying, but black Americans' biggest export in the world is our culture. For those who don't know, black Americans take up only 14% of the US population. With black folk being a significant minority in this country, how is it that we have such a powerful grip on the culture? To keep it simple, black Americans just have the power to make anything we do cool as fuck. Now I bet some of you are saying, wow, that's a pretty broad statement, Grizz. And you probably don't agree with me, but when you play your little dirt and put on your Air Force Ones, I hope you come back to this video and hear my voice ringing through your fucking head. Alright, my bad OG. I kinda went off on a tangent, but I'm just trying to lay the groundwork on why I hated this thumbnail so much. Walk with me. Now when I clicked and watched this video, there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. It was just a breakdown on how Sukuna is an absolute fucking powerhouse. So initially, there's nothing wrong. As a black person, I understand that this content is simply just a form of satire. But see, this is where my problem lies. Me, being a black dude, can understand that this is satire, but can the rest of the audience say the same? Alright buckos, it's time for Grizz to break down a little bit of history about myself. I grew up in the inner city of Washington, D.C. I often tell this story because a lot of people don't believe that I didn't have a white friend until my mid-20s. Obviously, I had white coworkers and white acquaintances, but I never truly had a white friend until I was a lot older. The reason for this really comes down to one thing, the demographics. Since I grew up in the DMV, which is a highly dense populated area full of black people, I really didn't get too many opportunities to mix and mingle with the white homies. So my initial understanding of white people, or should I say white culture, was those movies from the early 2000s. You know what I'm talking about. American Pie, Big Lebowski, Project X, Euro Trip, those type of vibes. When I got my first white friend, I thought it was gonna be something like American Pie. You know, me and him popping brewskis, getting lit as possible, and possibly trying to fuck his mom. Anyway, back to my point. So when I met my first Caucasian friend, it was nothing like American Pie. Matter of fact, he was nothing nothing like the main character Jimmy. I mean, in retrospect, that's kind of a good thing because, you know, he was like fucking pies and stuff, but I'm getting to the point. Now, you can imagine for a 20-year-old Grizz, this totally broke my brain. Where's the Euro trips? Where's the Big J's and the Big Lebowski? Where's the apple pie, bro? I mean, this guy was just me with lighter skin. We liked all the same things, we did all the same hobbies, and we always had the hottest of takes. My worldview totally shifted. It made me realize that people are not a monolith to their race. Not every white person I meet is gonna be like one of them dudes from American Pie. I mean, there could be people in the world that are very similar to those type of movies, but that's just nothing but a hyper dramatization of high school life in white America. Alright, Brody, make sure to keep that point in the back of your head, and let's circle back to this thumbnail that made me start this yapathon. You see, from my perspective, there's nothing wrong with this content, but the key word is my perspective. What if you grew up in middle of America, Idaho, being a huge anime fan, love watching anime video essays, and never in your life met a black person? Then that's where the problem lies. And you're on YouTube one day and you stumble upon that thumbnail. Since that Iowa boy is unaware to the spin that many people put on black culture, he has no idea that this first contact with the now black culture is an exaggerated negative version of it. So now this kid's only perspective on black people is this stereotypical ignorant version of an anime breakdown. At best, they might have heard a few Future songs on TikTok, has a homie that showed them this new interesting rapper named Baby Kia who's loud, obnoxious, and is a quote-unquote crash out. And then he says to himself, hey man, I hope I never meet a guy like this, and immediately forms this opinion based on the thumbnail and the limited knowledge he has of black people. You see, my friend, that's when it becomes a problem. Even in this kid's hobby, anime is being spoke about in a manner that's just an exaggeration of black people. You see, for me, this is just satire, but for the Iowa boy, this has become his reality of how black people are. Y'all want to hear a little fun fact? The black population in Iowa is only 0.68%. That's insane. All right, let's get back to the video. With such a low population of black people, it's safe to say that this little Iowa kid will never meet a black guy a day in his life. Now, all this happens because of exaggerated content that his eyes met before he met a black person that lived outside those stereotypes he's seen in that video. Now, does this statement sound out there? 100%. Am I creating some type of logical fallacies? I don't know, maybe a slippery slope? Yeah, but sometimes your videos don't always have to have analytical data. Sometimes you just want to get on YouTube and fucking yap about some shit you seen and it made you feel some type of way. I'm sorry I'm not Bill Nye the Science Guy and I don't have analytical data to prove it right now, but maybe the next video I'll try to have some of that in my knapsack so I can shut you the fuck up. Anyways, back to my point. These videos not only damage blurred culture, but black culture as a whole. Now listen, I get there's a lot going on in the world and there's so many more problems we could be talking about other than Sakuna in a do-rag and a guy narrating the story using AAV language. Trust me, I'm not that naive. But I think about how black people are already treated in the anime space and it really starts to grind my gears. Over the last few months, I've been on TikTok, you know, one of the greatest websites of all time, and I've been seeing how black people are treated in the cosplay community. Let's say a black girl decides to dress up as Goku. There'll be nothing but gorilla emojis, racist statements, just some shit I don't even want to repeat, man, because it's like that foul. So it's safe to say that the anime space on the grand scheme is already not the nicest to people of color, period. Hence why black people have created their own space, such as BlurredCon, DreamCon, and etc. Listen, anime is super dope. We love the fights, we love the flair, we love the aesthetic as a people. But this is where my dilemma truly comes from. You see, when black people put out their culture for the world, it usually comes back as something that's totally not supposed to be. And I have an example of that. I know everybody is using the word "got" right now, like "got," you know? I think I seen one video, this dude was talking about "got" stands for girl, why, ass, tat tat, or something like that, when it's really just an abbreviation of goddamn, you know? Just a random side note, I'm so tired of you guys saying that black culture is internet culture, it's not internet culture, y'all got it from us, let's chill out. Anyway, my point here is, when people don't understand the context behind something, that thing can easily be twisted and turned and misconstrued, and when it comes back to us, it's totally not the same thing. I understand that this anime hood content is mostly satire, but when it goes into the culture melting pot known as the YouTube algorithm, it no longer becomes satire for some people. it becomes a reinforcement and a reality to how they feel already. Look, bruh, I'm not saying these content creators should be canceled. I'm not saying their content's bad. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying when you're making content, you have to be mindful for who you're making the content for, but even more than that, who else can see your content. Look, man, over the last month, I've been covering content brain rot. So this is not the worst thing I've seen on the internet, but I just had to bring a point that this can be very harmful for people who don't understand the joke. What might be a harmless joke between two homies can really reinforce a negative stereotype to somebody who doesn't know no better. And that's why we have to be a little bit more mindful of the hoodification of anime. Hey, look, man, I'm out of town right now, so I couldn't record on the green screen, but I'm trying a new format, man. You know, video essays, yapathons. I'm tired, man. I couldn't cover Boogie. I don't want to cover any more like internet dudes, bro. I'm just so tired of it. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. I'm 2 weeks late on the video, but I'm gonna have one in the tuck already, man. You know, we're coming right back at you, man, like the Kirby show. Discord at the bottom, links at the bottom. And if you guys want to hear me talk about why black people love anime so much, click the link right here, and I will see you next week with a green screen, hopefully. I mean, maybe not. If you guys like this, I might just not show my face anymore and know I'm pretty ugly. See ya.